I'm going to put a link below to a really good interview with Dr. Simon Atkins on Phoenix Rising Radio on the Truth Frequency Radio site. He has a lot of predictions coming up for 2015, mostly for the fall and the winter. And again, the end of September, everything keeps pointing towards the end of September that I keep hearing and seeing. And again, this is from a lot of different sources, so I don't know. I'm just going to run through really quick some of the predictions that he put out there. But again, go listen to the whole interview. He goes very in-depth, and he's a great source of knowledge. This guy's awesome. So the first prediction he gives is a 9.0 or thereabouts earthquake in the Iranian region. So that's huge. A 9.0 is huge. He also says a lot of volcanic activity on the Kamchatka Peninsula in eastern Russia, but more of a massive eruption, not just a regular volcano going off, so much that it affects, he expected in the fall of 2015, fall of this year, but enough that it affects the winters in North America in 2015 and 16, a lot of floods in the United States, and a lot of drought in China for the next 2 years based on this volcano going off. He's also predicting a 6.9 earthquake in Northern California in mid-September, and he puts that at an 80% confidence. Now, all of these predictions are based on what he calls a frequency shift, and saying that there's an energy wave coming through this part of the solar system. It's going to pass, through around Earth. And he's noted that the Schumann resonance has gone up from about 7.8 to currently it's at 11.3, the Schumann resonance of the Earth. And he said it's increasing to match, or to try to match the energy of the frequency field. But when the shift actually occurs, the field is going to be much higher than the Schumann resonance, which he expects to go up to about 13 or 14 at its highest. And because of that difference in those two energy fields, it's going to cause a lot of issues, not only for humans, but also for other animals on the Earth, as well as the Earth itself, with volcanoes, weather, earthquakes, and such. So he's expecting the shift to occur again at the end of September. Like I said, everything's pointing towards the end of September. And what we're currently seeing with weird animal attacks, or just weirdness in nature overall, animal die-offs, like the turkeys, the flu that they got, all this kind of stuff he's attributing to this upcoming frequency shift. We're in it right now, but the actual shift isn't going to occur again to the end of September. So what he's expecting is 10 to 17% of the population of humans are kind of going to get crazy, hallucinate, just go nuts basically for 2 days, just because they're not going to be able to process the energy shift, and they're not going to be able to sleep, and they're just going to go basically a little bonkers. He's expecting chaos, to put it. He didn't put it mildly, so I'm not going to. He's expecting chaos for a couple of days at the end of September, and he's expecting also that it's not just going to happen to regular people, but to the leaders of the world. And he's expecting, he sees this as a tipping point, I guess. A leader is going to be taken away, in quotes, by the public for their insanity in August, leading up to the shift. And that's going to kind of be like a marker that everybody can look for when whatever world leader it is removed from their post just because they're acting erratic. Then we know that, it's coming in a month or so. Let me see what else here. Again, it's going to be worse in the northern hemisphere due to all the land mass. There's more land, actual physical land in the northern hemisphere for the magnetism and all this energy to, affect the planet, rather than the southern hemisphere where it's mostly ocean. And then finally, he was asked a question on what he thinks about Jade Helm 15, and he said that he thinks they're getting an infrastructure in place to learn how to control what's coming with this energy shift, how to deal with a crazy population that isn't acting rational, just going to be nuts. People are just going to be crazy because of the energy. So he thinks that that's what it is. And again, the exercise ends mid-September, and then he expects the shift at the end of September. So he figures that they're going to spend the next couple months getting ready for this and with their actors and all that stuff. I don't know. Again, I don't know. Just his opinion. And again, this was a 2-hour interview, so I did my best to sum it up. But go listen to it. He goes very in-depth. But again, the highlights, 6.9 in Northern California, 9.0 in Iran, major volcanic eruption in Kamchatka. The frequency of the Schumann resonance is going to go up to about 13 or 14. All of this, again, happening at the end of September. And crazies. People are going to be hallucinating, going nuts, unless you prepare yourself, by sleeping more, eating right. He goes through a whole list of stuff that you can do preemptively to try to get your body ready for this kind of shift. So, again, I'll put the link. Go check it out. Again, just to close, he mentions that he's currently in Uruguay, and he moved down here about 3 years ago, and I moved down here about 2 years ago. So he thinks that this is one of the safest places in the world to be, and it just kind of reaffirms what I've been thinking for a while now. So it was nice to get that independent confirmation, even though I wasn't doubting it in the first place.